Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alistair McGregor, the Member of Parliament for Cowichan and Malahat-Langford. I'm joined by a number of different stakeholders, as well as two dear colleagues, Bonita Zarrillo from Port Moody Coquitlam and Gord Johns from Courtenay Alberni. We're here today because today, later this afternoon, my private member's bill C-277, the National Strategy on Brain Injuries Act, is going to have its first hour of debate. And the reason why this is such a momentous occasion is because it is really, a campaign has grown around this bill that has reached Canadians coast to coast to coast. We know that brain injuries have profound intersections with our criminal justice system, with substance use, which are two very big problems that Canadians are seeing a lot of it. And I think through the efforts within this bill, through the legislative measures that are contained within the national strategy, the fact that it's going to force the Minister of Health to work with their provincial counterparts, to work with stakeholders, we're going to finally see those legislative guardrails put into place to address this problem in a positive way, to make sure that those policies are in place for prevention, for treatment, and to really help people who are living with this experience every day. Brain injuries affect over 1 million Canadians across this country, and more are added to that roster every single year. In fact, it's far goes past many of the different health effects that we see, and I think it's an issue that is truly of national concern. It's much bigger than any one province or territory can handle on their own, and I'm very pleased to be joined today by my first guest that I'm going to introduce, Michelle McDonald. Michelle has played a really important role in the development of C-277. She is with Brain Injury Canada. They've been a huge force behind this bill, and I can't say enough good things about Michelle's efforts, about her organization's efforts. So with that, I'd like to ask Michelle to come up to the podium to share a few words. Thank you.
So almost 2 million Canadians live with brain injury, which can be traumatic from car accidents, sports injuries, assault, intimate partner violence, but also non-traumatic causes such as stroke, brain tumors, opioid overdoses, and many other causes. No matter the cause of injury, for many it is the start of a chronic long-term condition impacting every aspect of their life and the lives of their family. Due to the invisible nature of brain injury, the lack of understanding in the general public, and no unified approach to care, these individuals are at high risk of homelessness, housing insecurity, mental health issues, unemployment, underemployment, substance use, and interaction with the legal system. It is imperative that Canada rally to develop a national strategy on brain injury. A strategy would increase preventative measures, enhance surveillance data of both incidence and prevalence, raise awareness, provide education and training, foster research, and establish national guidelines for the prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of brain injuries across the country. A national strategy would ensure that no one is left behind. I'm now going to introduce Marjolaine Tapin from Connexion TCC.
Bonjour. Le regroupement des associations de personnes traumatisées craniocérébrales du Québec représente 13 associations régionales qui viennent en aide à plus de 5000 personnes ayant subi un traumatisme craniocérébral et leurs proches dans 16 régions administratives du Québec. Nous appuyons aujourd'hui et demandons l'adoption du projet de loi C-277 pour une stratégie nationale sur les lésions cérébrales. Nous reconnaissons l'importance et le besoin de mieux documenter la situation, améliorer la sensibilisation, la formation, la recherche et le suivi continu dans la communauté, car un traumatisme crânio-cérébral modéré ou grave, c'est un choc qui dure toute la vie. Nous sommes préoccupés par l'ampleur du phénomène, qui est probablement sous-estimé en raison des cas non déclarés auprès des populations vulnérables, telles que les personnes ayant vécu de la violence conjugale, en situation d'itinérance ou à risque de l'être, ou en combinant d'autres problématiques de santé mentale ou de toxicomanie. Le regroupement reconnaît que les séquelles du traumatisme crânio-cérébral est une condition chronique qui demande un suivi régulier et réitère la nécessité d'adopter une stratégie nationale pour améliorer les conditions de vie des personnes vivant avec un traumatisme crânio-cérébral partout au Canada. Je cède la parole à Tim Fleiszer de Concussion Legacy Foundation Canada.
Good afternoon. My name is Tim Fleiszer, and I'm the founder and executive director of Concussion Legacy Foundation Canada. We, along with our sister organizations in the US, UK, and Australia, form the leading global charity addressing brain injuries in youth, military personnel, veterans, and athletes. I'm also a retired athlete, having played professional football in the CFL for 10 seasons, while also playing soccer, hockey, and rugby. My 3 young boys play soccer and hockey. In 2009, I began volunteering for Concussion Legacy Foundation in the US after my former teammate, Chris Nowinski, founded the organization. While playing together at Harvard and during my time in the CFL, I saw my fellow teammates suffer multiple brain injuries. This has led to several of them suffering from mental health issues, and some have even taken their own lives. Too many have been diagnosed with chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, after they passed. CTE is the only neurodegenerative disease that is completely preventable, and CLFC is on a mission to eliminate CTE by preventing hits to the head, whether on the job, in combat, or playing a game we love. Prevention and education is a key pillar to CLFC's strategy, and our team works tirelessly every day to ensure we are able to raise awareness around this issue. A national brain injury strategy would allow organizations championing this issue to help guide best practices and advise the federal government to ensure every youth, athlete, and military personnel, a member of the Canadian Armed Forces, have their best chance at a long, healthy life with their loved ones. We truly believe in this initiative because we want to see our kids participate in sports without the risk of severe, life-altering brain injuries. Because we want to help our armed forces service men and women put their lives on the line to protect ours, return home to their loved ones with the health and dignity they deserve. And because we want to ensure that those who have faced multiple head impacts are suffering have the best access to possible treatment. Thank you, MP McGregor, for having us here today to speak about this important next step to address this issue. We look forward to working together to make this bill a reality. It is my pleasure to introduce Lynda Muckleston, brain injury survivor and advocate.
I wanted to make a point of coming here and explaining to you what it's like to have a brain injury. Early on, I felt as though I was Alice who dropped down through the rabbit hole. The perceptions were off, my reality had changed, I didn't know how my body worked, my brain worked, my emotions were unstable. I didn't even know who I was spiritually. There were so many questions. Who was I? How was I going to continue with the rest of my life? Will I ever have a job? Can I be part of my community again? Can I be part of my family? And that led questions to, how is my family supposed to support me and help me through this process? Because a brain injury just doesn't happen to the individual. It happens to their family, their friends, everyone around them. It was just a very troubling time. Where do you start? How do you start looking for rehabilitation? I started with a rehab doctor who just sort of patted me on the head and said, go home, this is who you are. You're not going to improve any more than this. And that was really demoralizing. I felt very much like a throwaway human being. But that seemed to have been what some of the attitudes were at the time. I just felt like, I was Alice and nobody wanted to help me. After a lot of research, I did find a more aggressive physiatrist and got a lot of support from all the other healthcare professionals. But it's vital that they continue to train, they be given the opportunities to train to support the brain injury individual as well as the families. And it doesn't stop there. I'm still looking for who I am. I'm still I now work. I'm definitely part of the community. I'm definitely I'm involved with my family in every aspect. But I still, every day, have to come up with new strategies. So as it was mentioned before, it's chronic. You can't just say after 10 years, oh, you've had your brain injury for 10 years, you must be better now. Because it's a whole new reality. I'm not somebody I would have been before the brain injury, but I'm a whole person as it is. It takes so many years to rebuild a brain and very often rebuild a body. It takes time, it takes patience from everybody, not just the individual, but from the family, from the healthcare providers. It just goes on and on. I push every day. So having this bill go through will help so many others. I think the education is probably a huge aspect of it. Understanding that we still will always have this brain injury. It just doesn't disappear. Anyway, now that you've heard a bit about my experience, I would like to introduce you to Denis Boileau from Vista Brain Injury Services.
Bonjour, hello. My name is Denis Boileau. I'm representing Vista Center Brain Injury Services, and I'm actually a service provider providing services to people with a brain injury within the area of Champlain. And just to bring it down to our level, in my area, every year there are 6,500 cases of brain injuries within this particular area. So I am here to support this bill. And why am I here? I would like to mention a few other items that I think are important within this bill. One is to have national guidelines for everyone in every province so that we can provide the best services possible for people with a brain injury. Two is I support this bill because it will create awareness. Three, I support this bill because of the training and education that we provided to service providers in the healthcare area. Number four is that we will identify challenges for people that have a brain injury and how difficult it is to cope. And my last point is I support this bill because most of my clients are, and I'm going to use the term, lifelong clients. You do not have a brain injury, and after that you are cured in 3 months, 6 months, or whatever. For people that have a brain injury, it's life-altering, and it is lifelong struggle, and it's a lifelong passion for us, who are the service providers, to provide them with the best service possible. Thank you very much for your time and for listening to me. And I will turn it now back to our host.
Thank you to everyone who shared their professional and personal stories. And I really do want to again highlight my two colleagues. Bonita Zarrillo, the MP, she's the critic for disability and inclusion, Gord for mental health and addictions, both in their own critic portfolios have done incredible work, and to have them up here standing with me to support this initiative means the world to me. And I just want to end on this note. There are a lot of personal stories out there, and I know a lot of people have taken the time to write to their MP about the importance of this. My message to my colleagues is this. There are so many people who are depending on us as parliamentarians to move ahead and put in policy that's going to support people who are struggling out there. And brain injury is a leading cause of a lot of that struggling. So this is an opportunity for us to come together to do something positive and to make sure that we have legislative requirements in place so that the government acts. With that, I'll see if there are any questions. No? Okay. Thank you very much.